how should the younger generation or the future look at cultivating this, and having this as an aid and a strength for them, KV?
Good question. Difficult to define intuition because intuition occurs. You cannot cultivate it.
Yes.
In the sense that you can collaborate with your intuitive faculties, but you can't say, I'll get it now because I want it.
Yes.
It doesn't come on command. How does it actually develop? First and foremost, I think our mental reliance on our analytical abilities is very useful, but overemphasized because a typical management guy or in MBA is trained more on the analytical, deductive reasoning through all his subjects.
Yeah.
Though there is an emphasis on arts, there is an emphasis on creative writing, there will be an emphasis on imagination, creativity, innovation, all the new buzzwords are there. But this comes a bit later. It is not so well entwined with their logical processes. Yes. That you find many people being very logical. And usually those who have a bit of an intuitive capability or a more creative capability may not be extremely logical. In fact, I'm reminded of, again, a Greek guy who says that the true intelligence resides in some remote part of your brain or remote part of your team. Actually, those who don't speak up much, maybe having some very intuitive, insightful inputs, which they don't even bring out because they know that they get smashed in a meeting. Logic will come and smash them. So you need to provide that space and time. So 3 or 4 things I'll tell you how you can experience that you have intuition. And intuition comes to every person.
Yes.
As you lead life, your mind is not the only one that has intelligence.
Correct.
There is an intelligence of the body. Sometimes when you're going into a situation, something bodily strikes you and you feel scared.
Yes.
There is no logic to it. You just feel scared. You go to a place where your body says, this is the place. It's not your mind. Mind is only picking up the signal and sending you to your heart. And what a great morning on a beach, where you see the sunset or the sunrise. There is a whole thing that envelops you. So there is a bodily intelligence, there is a memory-led intelligence, and there is overall something when you silence yourself and you pull yourself back, something strikes you. And a lot of work has happened, what we call a subconscious level. We have a conscious life and we have a subconscious. Many of us go through stresses, particularly young managers can't get sleep at night. They get extreme stress and they get dreams. And I remember attending the dream workshop many years ago when I was a young manager, where one is taught for 1 week entirely reading your own dreams and seeing symbolism and meaning from it, which actually is giving you guidance to your day-to-day work. The whole field, I can go into that, but it's a whole field, because what's happened is you subdued your subconscious so much that you're not taking those signals. Correct. If you open up, suddenly you make it a solution coming out of a dream sequence. If you can recollect and remember, it would come. So for a lot of this, a couple of basic things would be very helpful. You can't hope you will get very intuitive overnight.
Yes.
But first is you have to be receptive.
Correct.
Firstly, be receptive to everything that happens around you, good, bad, indifferent.
Correct.
Here again, forget the word, pick the voice. When people are talking to you, you're sitting in a meeting, see the emotion that is what's going on. So you perceive much more than what is being said, what is being felt there in that room, except take it. You've got to receive a lot. You've got to assimilate all of that and let it rest. Normal mind is, after all this, is this right? Is this wrong? Can you suspend judgment and let it rest within your conscience or subconscious level? Then you are struggling, and suddenly there comes a moment when the second word I would say is receptivity.
Mhm.
Second is after receptivity, stop thinking and reflect.
Yes.
The reflection is actually looking at it with a mirror.
Yes.
Whatever you've experienced, good, bad, indifferent, it could be mental, it could be emotional, it could be logical, it could be illogical, no matter what. If you start reflecting on it,
Correct.
then suddenly you don't know where it strikes you, but you start getting a sense perhaps this is the right thing to do. And the Eureka moment hits you, and that is actually intuition. Now, intuition takes into account what I call this, what I raised out in the beginning. It's not linear. It takes a very discrete set of things. What's happening in the world, what's happening with your people, what's happening with your team, what's happening with your environment, what's happening with your competition, what everything together is very difficult for a straight line linear data processing kind of solution.
Correct.
It's multivariate. And all of that together, if you put it and let it rest for a while, you might get it. But also, there are times you may get nothing. So let's be honest about it. You can't force intuition to come. But if you start developing the skill of reception and reflection quietly, there are chances that you will develop that. And once you get it, it is such a clear message to you. There's something inside you tells you this is it. And you take it. And then you start developing that confidence that, look, my intuition is worthwhile. And you will check data. I mean, you can't go and say, I intuitively feel that I must make now space rockets and I want to make the company to invest. I think that would be a complete disaster. So then once you get the idea, then you start polishing it in terms of risks and evaluations and so on.
Correct.